A very good morning, students. Welcome back. Myself Vishal Pandey, and today I'm going to discuss a famous piece of poetry written by Ted Hughes, The Laburnum Top, from your Hornbill book. This is a poem, and it is a symbolical poem as far as the piece of poetry is concerned. So let us understand and try to cope up with this poem. As far as the introduction of this poem is concerned, as you can see, the laburnum top. What is the laburnum? What basically the laburnum literally means? See, if you want to understand laburnum first, then you have to understand that this is a type of tree which is there in USA, in Canada and some parts of Europe. But the hazardous thing, the melancholy which is there about laburnum is that it is a type of a tree whose seeds, its seeds and its flowers, its leaves, everything is poisonous. So what is melancholy about laburnum? That it is a poisonous tree. Keep this in your mind. So the laburnum top is about a repaying relationship between the laburnum tree and the goldfinch bird. Now what is the importance of bird in the poem, in this poem? Because as you can imagine, a tree is very lonely. Why it is lonely? Because no one is sitting under it. Nobody is interested in taking the flowers of laburnum tree. No birds, no creatures is interested to go and make nest on that particular tree. But there is one goldfinch, a bird which is gold in color, along with its beads, along with its babies. It makes nest on that laburnum tree. And that is the relationship between that bird, goldfinch, and the laburnum. How the relation came on the platform, that is very interesting to be understand. As I told you that this is a symbolical poem. What is symbolical? Symbolical means to just give you a set of reflection other than what it has been written. So that is very interesting. The tree is yellow. I will show you in the next slide how the tree look like exactly. Silent and death-like, and is made alive by the bird and her young ones of goldfinch. So the tree is very much sad, but its leaves are yellow in color. But whenever goldfinch comes and sits on that branches of the tree, the laburnum became fascinated. The laburnum became happy altogether. So the yellow bird has her shelter on the tree where she feeds her young ones. So the goldfinch has made her shelter, her nest on that laburnum tree where she used to come and feed her young ones. But as soon as the bird leaves to fly in the sky, the tree becomes silent and death-like again. Whenever goldfinch comes and sit on the tree becomes happy. But when she flies away in the sky to the indefinite sky, the laburnum becomes death-like. What it means? What is the meaning of death-like? Again, in form of melancholy. So let us understand, this was all the introduction of the poem. Now let us move forward and try to understand line wise, stanza wise, the poetic devices. Everything will be explained by me. So let us move forward. If you want to see the laburnum tree, these are the leaves of laburnum tree. Yellow leaves, as you can see, but poisonous in nature. Don't forget this. Laburnum tree is poisonous. Because of that, because it is poisonous, no one likes to sit under it. No birds like to make nest. But if you talk about goldfinch, she has made a nest, and that is all because of that only laburnum tree becomes happy at a certain points at several intervals. Now let us understand line wise the explanation of the poem as well. If you see the 3 lines on the top, these are the poems, this is the lines of poem and then explanation of the poem. Certain points are given for the explanation, and remember one thing, that 3 lines written on the top, these 3 lines are the basic lines of the poem written by originally Ted Hughes, a great poet from England, a poet laureate as well, and he has written that piece of poetry. Let us begin with that. The laburnum top is silent. What is mean by that? This tree is silent in nature. It is not happy. Why? Because there is no reason that it can be happy. Quite still. What do you mean by quiet and what do you mean by still? So you have to understand the basic meaning of quiet and still. So the laburnum top is silent. Why it is silent? I told you. And quite still means it is immovable. It is silent as well as still. Still means what? Immovable, which is not, which cannot move. In the afternoon, yellow September sunlight. In the afternoon, when it's talk about, poet says that it was a situation, it was time of afternoon. Yellow September sunlight. In India, as you can see, in the month of September and October, monsoon changes, and then winter starts near about that. But remember, we are talking about America and Europe. So there, in the month of September, they have so much sunlight. So that is why poet is saying that in the afternoon of yellow September, that is why in the month of September they have more sunlight than us, rather than we are having sunlight in India and Asia basically in the month of March, April to July. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. What it is saying? That a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. It is clear by writer that in the month of September, that tree, laburnum tree, used to shed its leaves, and because its seeds are poisonous, it is fallen and nobody is touching those seeds. In the above lines, the poet says that he saw a laburnum tree whose leaves were yellow. The tree's top is still and silent in the day of September month. It is autumn season and all the seeds of the tree had fallen. So this is the explanation of above line. The poet has used the word yellow for leaves. That word yellow has been used for leaves. And sunlight. Yellow symbolizes silence, death and beauty. 3 things which are important and can straight away come to your examination. Which are those things? Remember, I am always saying that this poem is symbolical in nature. Now if it is symbolical, it has some certain ideas, certain points, so that you can understand. There is a color used in this poem again and again, yellow. Now in this poem, according to poet, yellow symbolizes 3 things. What are those three things? First one is silence. Yellow symbolizes silence. Then death, and again beauty as well. So keep this in mind. 3 things are denoted by yellow, silence, death and beauty. He describes the whole scene of the tree with this color. So writer is using this color yellow for the introduction of the tree again and again and again. So let us move in the next slide and try to take the next lines of the poems. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end, then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness and a machine starts up of chitterlings and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. Now this stanza is changing the scenario of the poem. This stanza is giving you some more adventures regarding the happiness of laburnum tree. How? In the first 3 lines, laburnum was all sad, but then these lines comes where laburnum tree will become happy. How and why? 2 questions arises. How and why? Why is because golden finch, that goldfinch bird is coming and it will sit on the branches of laburnum and she will twitching with chirrup, she will make noise, and the young ones, the babies which are there on the laburnum in the nest itself of goldfinch, they will see her mother, they will see their mother, and they will start chirping, they will start making noise, and with that noise laburnum will become happy. Laburnum will become happy. Let us have the explanation. A goldfinch bird comes to end the death-like scene of the tree and makes a sudden chirrup sound. When tree was all silent, the goldfinch came, and because she came, that sadness was broken of laburnum. The bird, while being rapid, alert and precautious like a lizard, sits on the branches of the tree. Have you ever seen lizard? I hope so, because you all will you may be having lizards in your homes. Those lizards are very precautious, rapid and alert. They are very energetic. You cannot beat them. They are so furious. So laburnum tree founds, and poet himself founds goldfinch that much alert like lizard. Now you can see here comparison has been made by using a word like. As you can see, comparison has been made by using a word like. We can see which poetic devices have been used in this line. Simile has been used. I will be telling you in detail after finishing the explanation of the poem that what is exactly the poetic devices are. If you see, as she moved towards the thickness of the branch, her younger ones started chirruping and doing vibrations with wings, making a sound like a machine. What is meaning of these lines, children? What is the thickness of the branches? Laburnum tree has many branches, and when goldfinch comes, she used to go deep into the nest where she has made a nest. So that is called the thickness of the branch. She is going to the end of that branch where her nest is there, and in that nest her young ones are there to feed them, to have to get them, because she get food for their young ones, for her young ones, to feed them, she is going in the thickness of the tree, in the thickness of the branches. Because of the movement of the bird and her young ones, the tree starts to shake and thrill. Because goldfinch is making noise, young ones are making noise, everybody is chirruping. Because of that sound, tree is also moving and it is happy. Laburnum becomes happy by seeing the family of goldfinch. The poet has given two opposite scenarios of the tree first being death-like and still, and then giving life and shelter to bird and her young ones. As I told you, if you remember, that this poem is symbolical in nature. Two factors are there which you have to understand. The first one is that the tree, in the first line of the poem, you can see the tree is death-like. It is deep in melancholy. It is sadness. The nature is of sadness because its leaves and its flowers and seeds are poisonous. But at the other hand, you can see the tree is giving life and shelter to the bird, goldfinch families as well. So this is the scenario of the poem. This much is enough for today. In the next video, I will be discussing the next stanzas of the poem. Okay, thank you so much.